Days of Our Lives Spoilers Friday, February 6th. Stefano's drama-filled memorial. In a town where the extraordinary is Tuesday, Friday, February 6th, carved itself into the granite of Salem's turbulent history. It was the day they tried to bury Stefano di Mera. Not in the literal sense, his body has been, and likely remains, a question mark for forensic scientists everywhere, but in the ceremonial sense. The intention was a memorial, a somber reflection on a life of unparalleled villainy and twisted paternalism. What transpired, however, was less a farewell and more a declaration of war, a séance of secrets, and a potent reminder that a di Mera's influence is a ghost that never dies. The service itself, held in the opulent, vault-like great hall of the di Mera mansion, was a masterpiece of chilling theater. Black orchids, Stefano's signature bloom, dripped from every surface. A larger-than-life portrait of the man, eyes seemingly tracking the room, presided over the gathered mourners, detractors, and conspirators. The air wasn't thick with grief, but with a volatile cocktail of fear, suspicion, and unbridled ambition. Elegy of the Heirs, a battlefield of words. The eulogies were where the first cracks splintered the facade of respect. E.J. di Mera, the anointed son, stood resplendent in his mourning black, his voice a sonorous blend of pride and threat. He didn't speak of a loving father, but of an empire builder, a visionary whose ruthless elegance built the foundation they now stand upon. His speech was a coronation address, a warning to anyone who would challenge the di Mera throne. The subtext thrummed in the silent room, "I am the legacy. Fall in line." But the true emotional quake came from Marlena Evans. Compelled by a complex web of history, as his most famed nemesis, his brainwashed Queen of the Night, and a woman who understood his darkness better than anyone, she took the podium. Her words were not of condemnation, but of profound, unsettling insight. She spoke of the void his passing left in Salem's cosmic balance, of a chaos that was perversely predictable. "We knew the devil," she said, her voice steady yet haunted. "What new demons will rush to fill his space?" Her eulogy was less a tribute and more a prophecy, casting a pall of apprehension over the room. It was a stunning moment of grace extended to a tormentor, revealing the depth of the scar Stefano left on Salem's soul. The specters and the shadows, uninvited guests and echoes. No di Mera event is complete without a haunting. As if summoned by Marlena's words, the day's first shockwave arrived not from a person, but from a presence. A single, discordant chord echoed through the mansion's sound system, followed by the faint, unmistakable whisper of Stefano's theme, "Fancy Face." The collective gasp was audible. Panic flashed across faces. Was this a macabre joke, a technical glitch, or a message from beyond? It was Megan Hathaway, radical scientist and true believer in Stefano's vision of resurrection, who seemed most electrified, not terrified. Her eyes shone with a fervent light. "He's here," she mouthed to a confidant, seeing not a prank but a sign. Her conviction that Stefano's essence, his essence, stored on her godforsaken hard drives, can and will be reborn, transformed the memorial from an end into a potential prelude. Then came the physical specter, Clyde Weston. His arrival, a brash intrusion into this den of high society snakes, sent a different kind of shiver through the room. Here was the brute force criminal, the unpolished threat, staring down the refined, generational evil of the di Meras. His tense, whispered exchange with Megan at the back of the hall was a terrifying meet-cute. It symbolized a potential merger of Stefano's old-world cunning, Megan's mad science, and Clyde's street-level brutality, a unholy trinity that could make Stefano's reign look like a mere dress rehearsal. The seeds of tomorrow sown in today's grief. While the big players postured, the human dramas simmered, promising to boil over in the days to come. Johnny and Chanel presented a united front, but the strain was visible. His di Mera blood is a current pulling him into the family vortex, while her burgeoning bakery business, Sweet Bits, represents a life of light and normalcy. Can their love survive the gravitational pull of the di Mera name? The lingering, worried glances they shared spoke of a coming crossroads. For Kristen Di Mera, the memorial was a mirror reflecting her deepest insecurities. Seeing the reverence, however fear-based, for her father and the power EJ now commands has ignited a furious jealousy. The Princess of Darkness feels her birthright slipping away. Her plotting, always dangerous, now has a new, desperate edge. She isn't just fighting her enemies, she's fighting to be seen as Stefano's true heir. And in a quiet, heartbreaking corner, Marlena found a moment with Steve Patch Johnson. Two veterans of the Stefano Wars, they shared no words, only a look of immense, weary understanding. It was a silent acknowledgement of the trauma they share, and a mutual, unspoken dread that their hard-won peace may be over. Steve's grip on his wife's hand tightened, a soldier bracing for a familiar, unwelcome battle. Conclusion: the headstone is a starting line. As the last of the black orchids were cleared away and the guests departed into the Salem night, one truth resonated louder than any eulogy. This was not an ending. Stefano Di Mera's memorial was, in fact, the opposite. It was a catalyst. It was a gathering of his chaotic energy, now dissipated and absorbed by the living, who will wield it in new and potentially more devastating ways. EJ's hunger for control, Megan's fanatical devotion, Kristen's desperate envy, and the looming alliance of science and savagery with Megan and Clyde, these are the children of Stefano's legacy. The man in the portrait may be gone, but his drama is eternal. He engineered lives like plots, and his final, posthumous act was to assemble every player on the stage one last time, handing them not closure, but a script for the next generation of vendettas, heartbreaks, and supernatural schemes. The memorial for the Phoenix did not extinguish his flame. It scattered the embers. And in Salem, embers never just die out. They smolder, they ignite, and they inevitably blaze into the next all-consuming fire. Friday, February 6th, will be remembered not as the day Salem said goodbye to its devil, but as the day it realized he had built a hell so perfect it could run without him.